Welcome everyone to Accelerate Constructability Review with Autodesk BIM 360 Coordinate. My name is Joseph Freund and I'll be your guide to understanding how Coordinate can be a great tool for making pre-construction coordination a breeze. I'll start with an overview of Coordinate in the PowerPoint, and then I'll switch to a live demonstration of the model clashing in action. And at the end, we should have time for a short Q&A. All right, so before we get into Coordinate, for those of you that were unable to attend last week's webinars, I just want to explain how Coordinate fits in among all of the other BIM 360 products. So there's BIM 360 Docs, which is the main repository and foundation for all the work managed in BIM 360. As any project kicks off, this is really where it should start. It's the place to centralize, control, and give access to project information to all team members. And then there's BIM 360 Design, which is the design package, which integrates design workflows into the BIM 360 platform for ease of transition to construction. Design teams can seamlessly review and collaborate throughout the design phase. Workflows include co-authoring shared Revit models, coordinating deliverables with multidisciplinary teams, creating and consuming packages, as well as visualizing design changes. Now on to BIM 360 Coordinate, which was previously known as BIM 360 Glue. This tool allows teams to streamline BIM collaboration through the acceleration of model aggregation and clash detection. It facilitates constructability reviews, helps to identify costly issues in the pre-construction phase, improves multidisciplinary coordination, and automates clash detection, and does a fine job at it. Then there is BIM 360 Build, which was previously known as BIM 360 Field. This improves construction quality control and job site safety through the use of checklists. Also with Build, users can create, assign, and manage issues, RFIs, submittals, and track field performance with daily construction reports. All of these packages come with insight tools to project analytics as well as document management capabilities, including file sharing, publishing drawings, versioning, and document comparison. So let's get into BIM 360 Coordinate. With access to the most up-to-date models and project data, BIM 360 Coordinate accelerates project reviews and allows teams to quickly identify and resolve coordination issues. Again, those familiar with BIM 360 will have an understanding and appreciation for that single source of truth, that one place that everybody goes to see the latest model. There are a lot of things that I will say about Coordinate today, but it does a lot, and particularly behind the scenes, and it provides a lot of tremendous value. But ultimately, it's a really straightforward tool to use, and it's especially for those that are already familiar with the BIM 360 platform. Today, the VDC or BIM expert will typically coordinate project data on behalf of other team members to find coordination issues, group clashes, assign ownership and status, and tracking all of these issues to a resolution. Now, we expect that detailers, designers, and project engineers will be using model coordination as part of their day-to-day activity. Dependence on the dedicated BIM specialists for coordination will eventually diminish. While there are still some technical aspects to ensuring that clashes can be run properly with model coordination, with Coordinate, the role of the GC or BIM expert becomes one of facilitation, troubleshooting, and preempting problems. Once a coordination space and folders have been created, models simply need to be dropped into the specified folders. Once the models are detected by model coordination, they are clashed in the cloud. After all of the clashes have been detected, they are presented in a way that is quick and easy to review and assign. If a clash is deemed as acceptable, such as a typical wall or floor penetration, then it can be marked as not an issue. With all of the project data and models hosted on document management, that single source of truth, model coordination brings automation and ease of use to data collection that allows a broader set of project members to participate in the coordination process. And this democratizes what was previously a specialist activity. Because this is a cloud-based technology with a consistent user-friendly interface, this tool is accessible to anyone on the project team from anywhere with an internet connection. Publishing and viewing of models can be controlled based on BIM 360 folder permissions. You can filter by user, company type, just to access the data that you need, or whatever makes it easier to review the information. Multiple coordination spaces enable the definition of private spaces for individual teams, in addition to shared spaces typically managed by the GC or main contractor. This process provides an opportunity to increase the quality of the models being shared, but in turn focuses the shared coordination activity on genuine coordination issues requiring that collaborative review. Within model coordination, you can collect and view models across all trades. You can create saved views of a select set of models within the Views tab in model coordination, and users can create these for themselves for private use, or they can publish them for anyone that's part of the project to see, as long as they have access to the coordination space. Clash views can also be filtered and show specific regions of the project. The model coordination module allows users to create and edit issues directly from clashes viewed in the model viewer. These issues will also appear within the Issues tab of document management, so all issues can be viewed and managed in a central location. And this makes it easier for finding, assigning, reviewing, and resolving these clashes. Details regarding the clash can be seen alongside the model view, with some details captured and automatically added at the moment of creation. Users can edit these details and add additional information such as location or due date, and add any attachments that they deem as relevant, such as screenshots or any other information. The Assigned Clashes tab allows users to see a list of all the clashes with details such as element ID number, status, due date, company, and assignee, as well as a link back to the multi-model view with preserved clash highlighting. This new workflow gives users more transparency into the clashes that need immediate attention and keeps everyone on the design team accountable. Review processes will go faster and smoother by ensuring that each project participant has access to the information they need to fix the problems and to identify costly issues in the pre-construction phase. With approval workflows, models can be automatically copied to the coordination space folder after approval, and relevant team members could be notified accordingly. Additionally, since everything is in the cloud, constructability reviews can be conducted on the job site or in the office, in a cafe, really anywhere you have an internet connection and something as simple as an iPad. One of the most powerful aspects of BIM 360 Coordinate is the ease to which it makes models available to anyone on the project team, without the need for advanced design software to be installed on a very powerful desktop. BIM 360 provides truly anytime, anywhere access to the 3D model data. You can filter models by user or discipline and easily view or hide elements of merged models. Model coordination supports a few different types of formats. There's a 3D Revit format, 3D DWG, and IFC files that are exported from ArchiCAD, Revit, MagicCAD for Revit, or Tekla Structures. Version control is an integral part of any organized product or project, that is. But it's not always the easiest task. But in version control in BIM 360, you have the ability to do so much more because of automation. You can visually compare how a model progresses with each version, or roll back to a previous version if necessary. Clearly see major additions and deletions so that changes are applied consistently throughout the model. When a new version of a model is copied into the same folder, rather than overwriting, it simply takes the place of that model that was there before and assigns a new version number. If this model is within the coordination space folder, since model coordination is constantly monitoring that coordination space for changes, clash detection will automatically commence in the cloud. To get model coordination set up, you will need to perform a few simple steps. First, you'll need to create the coordination folders within document management. Secondly, a coordination space in model coordination must be created, which points to those folders previously created. Once the folder is populated with 3D models, clash detection will automatically begin. In my experience thus far, it can take about 15 to 20 minutes to clash larger models. So it's not an instantaneous clash report, but if you want to go grab a coffee, or if you want to just pick everything up in the morning, so let it go overnight, you can do that, and when you return, all of your clashes will be grouped and organized and ready for review. From here, the BIM or VDC lead will either classify a clash as not an issue, or will create an issue and assign it to a team member. So there are many parts of previous coordination and clash detection workflows that were necessary and time-consuming that are now automatic, organized, and accurate. So now let's move over to the live demonstration portion of this webinar. Let me just Alt-Tab over to BIM 360. So as you can see, I've got a project already created here. I'm in document management. I have a Microsol Resources Training Center site set up and a project for BIM 360 Coordinate here. I've got my folder structure off to the left here. And as you can see, I've got the folders already set up. So I've got the work in progress folders for architecture, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, and structural. And as you can see, if I go to permissions here, you can see I give the permissions to whichever trade needs to. So if necessary, we can lock permissions so that the trades can't be looking in at each other's models, only if a package has been created and shared with them. And then up above here, I've created these shared coordination spaces, which is a separate folder where the work in progress model is copied into to then perform this clash detection. So I've got these all in a hospital folder, and I have 3 different coordination spaces set up. I've got an architectural model clashing against the mechanical, architecture versus plumbing, and architecture versus structure. And as you can see, if I go into each of these folders, each just has one of each of those models. That's taken a little time to load up, but just go back to architecture versus HVAC. So if we go back to how to create a new clash, I'll first need to create a new folder here. So these folders are already set up. So I'll just go here to hospital, add a new subfolder, and say I want to clash mechanical with structural. So I'm just going to create an HVAC versus structure folder. There we go. Right now I don't have any models in there, but I'll populate that in a little bit later. So right now I'll go up to my navigation, my waffle, or I recently heard it called the Navicon, which I kind of like. So I'll go up here and I'll be switching over to the model coordination module. So this is the main page that you'll see when you first go in. Right now, because I have already created some coordination spaces, it has pulled up these views with all of the different clashes. So if I want to create a new coordination space, I'll go to the right side over here, click this drop down, and I can go to Manage Coordination Spaces. And this will list off all of the coordination spaces that I've ever created in this project. So as you can see, I have many that have been created but deactivated so far. So I'll just go ahead and click Create here. I'll name my coordination space, the same as the folder that I created before. So HVAC versus structure. And I'll make sure I navigate to that folder that I just created. So now this coordination space in model coordination is always going to be looking into this folder to see if there are any models. And if there are models, clash them. So it's pretty straightforward as to how it works, but it does a lot of things in the background that are really nice. So I've created the coordination space here. As it's being created, I can now see it here. The folder path is listed here at the top. So if I go back to model coordination, I should be able to go to this drop down and now go to HVAC versus structure. And as you can see, I don't have any models in that folder, so I'll need to populate that with some models. So I'll go back to document management. What I can do is just manually go to my work in progress folder, go to my HVAC. I'm just going to check this model. I'm going to copy it over to my shared coordination space, hospital, HVAC versus structure. Copy that over. One document was copied. Okay, great. So now I'll go to structure, do the same here. Shared coordination space, hospital, HVAC versus structure, copy. So now when I go back to this folder, I should see both of these files. Great. That's exactly what I wanted. Now, another way that you could populate these folders is by having an approval workflow that automatically copies these models into a specified folder. And you can set that up. I'll just show you real quick. You need to go into Project Admin, and then make sure that I'm in Document Management here, and I'll just go to the Reviews section here. Now, right now, I don't have any workflows created, so I'll go ahead and create a new workflow. I'll just create a simple one-step approval. Go to Next. This is just Test Approval Workflow. Copy model into coordination space folder. So you can set these up as these approval workflows as complex as you want. You could have multiple reviewers going through different stages, but in the end, if the model is approved to continue to the next phase, then it can be copied into the folder for clashing. So I'm just going to choose an initiator here. I'll just choose myself here, an approver. I'll choose myself again. Have full control there. And then as you can see, I've got approved, rejected, or approved with comments here. So those are the different options. So if it gets approved, then down here below, action upon completion, update documents with approval status when review is complete. Now I can click this checkbox, and it will also copy the approved documents to select a folder. So I can go here, select a folder. So I'll go in here and, well, let's see. I may not want to put it into this folder because this is a workflow, an approval workflow that may apply to many different models. So I may want to put it just in the hospital folder, or just the shared coordination spaces folder. So I can choose that, but I can check this right here to allow the initiator to change the copy location. So upon approval, the approver can then, or the initiator, sorry, can choose the location where that model is going to be sent. So I'm going to go ahead and just cancel this, but that's an example of how you can create an approval workflow that will automatically populate your coordination space folder with your models. I'll just cancel here, and I'm going to go back to document management. Just confirm once again. We have our models in here, and as you can see, they're not too large. This is just under 40 megabytes, and this is just under 15. So I'm just going to go back up to my Navicon and switch over to model coordination, because at this point, now that the folders have been populated with my models, it should now be performing the clashes. So as you can see, with this revolving circle here, it's currently performing these clashes. It's showing me the clashes that are available, but because it's showing it like this, it's still in the process of finding additional clashes. So at this time, I'll just switch over to the architectural versus mechanical coordination space, so that I can review all of these clashes. So I just want to give an overview of what you're seeing in the interface here. So listed here are all of the different views from these two models, the architectural model and the mechanical model. And these views are associated to the published settings. So if I switch over to my Revit model here, which I have the mechanical model open here in this tab, and I have the architectural model open right here. I can go to the publish settings and check to see which views I'm publishing when I send this up to BIM 360. So I've got my 3D architectural view, and I have my 3D architectural first floor podium view. So those are the only two views that are going to show up within model coordination. Likewise, if I go back to the mechanical model and I go to publish settings, it will show all of these views. So I have the 3D view, podium levels, the various wings of the project. So these will all show up in model coordination. And then I can compare different views between the models to see where the elements in those views clash. So just go ahead and cancel that, and I will Alt-Tab back to BIM 360 and model coordination. So as you can see, these are all of those same views that were in the publish settings. So that's an important piece to remember in case you place a model up there and you're not seeing any views in here, or it's just way too many views, or more views than you would want. But in that case, if you have a lot of views listed there, you can narrow down the list either by choosing the models that you've created, or just those that are clashing with your model, or you can choose all models, or you can use the filters down below here to either choose a contributor, a company, or a date that it was updated. So many different ways that you can really narrow down on exactly what you need to see. And really, I think that's the best part of model coordination, is that there's all of this information out there about these different models, and it's really bringing you down to the point where you need to make the decision, and you're given the information, all of the information you need in all of the context, and it's perfectly displayed there. So how do we see these models? So let me just check a couple of these models here. So I'll check my podium level 1, and so that's my mechanical model. And I want to see how that clashes with my architectural model on the first floor podium. So I'll have those two checked, then I'll go ahead and click this view icon. So this will bring me into the model viewer. And this is going to be the main place that any VDC or BIM lead is going to be working through all of these clashes. So as you can see, it brings you into the model viewer, and anyone familiar with the model viewer and document management will recognize this familiar interface. Off to the left, in the models tab, it lists the two views from the two models that I have within this view. If I want, I can go ahead and save this view for use later. So I can go ahead and save that. Say this is level 1 podium, HVAC arc. I can add a description if I want, but I won't right now. I'll just go ahead and save the view. And as you can see in the upper right, I have a saved view. Additionally, those views will be accessible from this drop-down in the upper left corner. So I'll just go through some of the navigation features within this model viewer. So I can obviously orbit here, I can pan, I can fit to view, I can select an object and then click fit to view, and it'll take me right there. But if I have none selected, it'll just go to the zoom extents. I can do zoom window, I can go into first person, I can create measurements, I can do some section analysis here, which is very useful. There's just so much information here, and I'm really impressed with how quickly this works. So I'll just go and rotate this around a bit. So you can really narrow into an area that you want to see. So that you can see right here, here's a condition where I have a duct running into a wall diagonally. So that's definitely something that is probably going to be picked up on the clashes here. So I'll show you that in a little bit. So I'll go out of this section, go back to fit to view. Can also view the levels here. So I'm only viewing podium 1, but I can then isolate level 1 and level 2. It looks like this in this model. It includes these 2 levels, so I can just isolate those. And if I want to see everything again, I can just click that, so none of them are checked. In addition to levels, I can go into the model browser and I can toggle visibility by category, so I can turn off all the walls, curtain panels, really whatever you want. You can really customize. There are also properties, so I can go ahead and select any object in here. It's going to give me, well, that doesn't show this nicely. So a basic wall here, it shows the element ID, so that's very important if you're creating an issue and somebody needs to resolve it. As long as they have that element ID, they'll be able to go right to that element in the model, especially if they have something like Revit Lookup, which is a really nice add-in for Revit. So you have properties there, and that's a very nice tool. You can also customize the settings, so you can really make it look and behave as you want, navigating and changing the background and all that. You can also go into a full screen mode here, which is very nice, so you can really just focus in on the task at hand. Okay, so that's a good review of the model viewer. Oh, I forgot to mention this view cube up here, so that's a very nice, quick way to quickly toggle into different orthogonal views. Okay, now on to these clashes. So as you can see, I've got my models listed here. And go to my clashes tab. Oh, I may need to refresh this view. So now that I've created that view, I can go to my views tab up here and go right to that podium view. So I'm definitely glad I created that. Okay, so got my clashes here, so I'll pull those up. Okay, nice. So it tells me I have 416 different clashes. Now, I have it grouped by model and property at this time. So right now it's showing all of the elements that are clashing in the architectural model in red, and then everything in the mechanical model in green. Now I can switch that up here. So it flips those around. And then I can view all of the clashes by either object, system name, or by type name. And this can be extremely useful. Here's one example. I have these med gas outlets. I've got many of them throughout the project. I'll just click on one of these clashes, and as you can see, as I click on the clash, kind of zooms to fit with all of those clashes. If I want to show the clash highlighting, I can go ahead and check the box, and it's going to highlight those so that they show a little bit different than all of the rest of the clashes in the model. And then I can go ahead and zoom in. And this is I really like how this shows, because it's showing you all of the context, but it's showing you the most important information in the brighter colors and 100% transparency. So that's very nice. And in this case, so let's see, I've got this med gas outlet, because I've got the med gas pumping across here, going into the wall. So that's just an outlet. This is really not an issue I need to be concerned about. I'm glad that it detected that clash, but I really don't need to do anything about this. So I'm going to go ahead and click all those. Click these med gas outlet triple. Yep, these appear to be the same. I'm going to make sure I have both of those selected. And now what I can do is just say these are not an issue. And add a title there, reason, valid penetration. and then press OK. So now instead of 416 clashes, I now have 392 clashes. So that was a nice way to just reduce 24 different clashes all at once, because I know that they're all of the same type. That's a really neat feature there. And now that I have made that issue, or made those clashes not an issue, I can go back to, I can go ahead and click this X, which will bring me back to my views, wherever I was before entering into the model viewer. And if I go to clashes, which I haven't shown yet, but here, as you can see, I have all of my active clashes listed here in a matrix format. And these are basically all of the different combinations of ways that the views are clashing. And as I hover over each of these, it shows me which views are being clashed. And if I go ahead and click that, it'll take me right into that view where those two models are clashing against each other. So it's a nice way to always kind of circle back in to this model viewer where you're reviewing all of these clashes, getting them categorized either as not an issue or to create an issue and assign it to someone. So now that I've shown that, go back here. So I'm back to my clashes view. I haven't assigned any yet because I haven't found any issues that I know are genuine issues and need to be assigned. But because I classified some of those as not an issue, they will now show under the closed tab here. It's a valid penetration. So those will all appear here when they're marked not an issue. And generally that's going to be the workflow. You're bringing all of these clashes from active to either assigned and then closed. So it'll be assigned to someone. They will modify the Revit model accordingly, and then that issue will eventually be closed. Or it is not an issue from the get-go, and it can go right from active to closed. So I'm going to go back into my views here. I'm going to find one of these that is a real issue. Just wait a moment. Okay. I'm going to pull up my clashes here. And then I'm just going to navigate back to this condition here where I have this duct running into this wall. I just want to show you kind of what happens as I select objects. So I can go ahead and either select all of these pieces of ductwork. And I only selected here. It wasn't like a control click or anything like that. I just simply clicked all of them, and as you can see, they were selected in my list of clashes off to the left here. And so I can group all of them together, and then I can go ahead and create an issue here. And it'll ask me to specify a location to put the issue pin. I can go ahead and rotate. So I want to put it right about here. So that's where I want them to rotate this duct. So I can go ahead and say rotate ductwork to be parallel with wall. And then what I can do, now that I've already selected all of that ductwork and started to create this issue, I can just go ahead and select this wall, go to properties. Okay, I've got the wall ID here, so I can go ahead and put that in, 196.263. That way, when I assign it to, I'll assign this to my esteemed colleague, Roger Liucci. And then I'll give him until, you know what, he's having fun. I'll give him until next Monday. All right, and I can specify a location or additional details here. Root cause, I can can select all kinds of different reasons why this is a real issue here. So I'll just choose constructability. And as you can see, the description is automatically populated with all of this information. Now, unfortunately, there is a max character limit of 1,000, so you may need to reduce this down. But as long as the issue is assigned to someone, they should be able to navigate here and find for themselves exactly which elements are clashing here. So I'll go ahead and create this issue. Oop. I might need to remove some of this text. There we go. So you can see in my upper right, it says 12 clashes marked as an issue and move to the Assigned tab. I can either click here to go right to the Assigned, or I can just go out here, go to my clashes, go to Assigned, and there we go. There's my issue, assigned to Roger Liucci. So Roger is going to see this issue. Anytime he logs into BIM 360, we'll get an email. So right now we're in model coordination, but if I go back to document management and I go to the issues within document management, I'll be able to see that same issue that I just created listed here. So it's a really nice system that it's all interconnected. You're not going to have any dead ends. It all kind of wraps back in on itself so that you can really stay focused on the task at hand. Okay, so that is the main intro here to model coordination. As always, you have the little help icon in the upper right corner that you can click to go directly to model coordination help. There's also a link to the community forums here. If you have an idea that may improve model coordination or BIM 360, you can submit your ideas here. Otherwise, you can contact support. If you're a customer of Microsol Resources, you can contact us directly for support. But yeah, that's model coordination in a nutshell. And I hope you liked it, and I hope this kind of offers a new possibility in all of your workflow.